In this Minecraft video, I'm going to survive 100 days in hardcore Minecraft. Sort of. This one takes a little bit of explanation. In recent times, I've really been looking into speedrunning. I've always been really interested in the idea of being able to beat a game as quick as possible. And since I'm a Minecraft YouTuber who really likes Minecraft, obviously Minecraft was the place I was going to go. For those who don't know, Minecraft is set into random seed and set seed, with set seed being you get to choose the seed you pick. And so I thought, wouldn't it be a cool idea to get a random seed for the first ever time, load up the world, and learn the world within 100 days, with the ultimate goal to kill the Enderdragon in one run. So as the title says, every single day or 20 minutes, once that world is done, I will exit out, delete the world, and restart from the start. I have 100 attempts at this. If not, then I guess I'll start again. And for those who are wondering, the seed is -40077. Okay, I'm not gonna read the entire thing, but it's on screen for you. Can I learn this world exactly and complete the ultimate goal, killing the Enderdragon in just 20 minutes? Well, you'll have to watch and find out. But before we begin, we are now less than 8,000 subscribers away from 100k, so if you're part of that giant 90% not subscribed, please consider doing so. I want to get there by the end of the year, and we are so close. And secondly, if you want to help the YouTube algorithm, leave us a like as well. I'd really appreciate it. Alright, here we go. So I'm not gonna lie, this wasn't my first seed. I jumped into a few worlds, played around for a couple of days before settling on this one. It is worth noting that my rules were that I'm not allowed to use any seed viewer. If I die at any point, then I must restart on a completely different seed. That being said, at any point during the 20 minutes, I'm allowed to exit the world and quit. If I do quit though, I must start on the next day, as what I call it. I know these are technically individual attempts, but I'm just gonna call them days. So let's begin on day one. The best place to start when you're learning a new world is to search the nearby area. Very close to spawn, there was a broken nether portal, which was a decent size and also had a decent bit of lava. The only problem is I'd have to break 2 pieces of crying obsidian to use this portal. The chest loot has some golden boots with frostwalker on, a gold pickaxe, a little bit of iron, and a flame charge, so not a bad chest all things considered. I then decided to head directly north, where I found pretty much nothing. There was a desert temple very far to the north, which really didn't have anything good loot-wise. But what is worth noting is not only is there a lava pool at the bottom of the desert temple, but there is also a lava pool very close to it with a water pool next to it. If it wasn't so far away, this probably would be my go-to, but it would take over 1,000 blocks to get here, so this probably isn't a worthwhile option. Day 2, I decided to go west, quickly finding an ocean connected to a swamp, another broken nether portal in the water, but I'm not going to be able to use this one either. Other than an ocean monument, I didn't really find anything worthwhile to the west, so I can cut that one out of the equation. Day 3, I went south. In this case, I found a village in the middle of a spruce forest, so you could say that I found it in the eye of the tiger. Okay, this joke would be a lot better if I could play this song, but you know, copyright's the thing. I did find a chest with an iron chestplate, pickaxe, a little bit of obsidian, and there is a nice cave underneath one of the houses. The only problem with this village is that there's only 4 beds. Now, it is worth mentioning, though I am a fan of speedruns, I've never technically bed bombed the dragon before. That being said, I've seen people do it with about 6 or 7 beds, so I didn't think it'd be that hard. Just to be safe though, I am a beginner. Let me just quickly Google it. Here we go. To kill the Enderdragon with beds, you'll need some beds. First time I should bring it along 12 to 15 beds. Well, tits. I finished the day off looking around that cave underground, and though there was a couple of lava sources, there wasn't really a lava pool, so unfortunately this cave wasn't going to work. Back at the drawing board. Day 4, I went east, finding a ruined nether portal and a village in the same plains, literally about 50 blocks away from each other. To compare it to the last village, this village had 6 beds, whilst the first one only had the 4. It also had worse loot in the chests, and probably more importantly, it was an extra 200 block run. So I'm really going to have to compare the two to find which of the two is the best option. I decided to head back to the first village. My mindset was that if there was a nearby lava pool, it would be the better of the two options. It's closer, it has better loot, so if I have a lava pool nearby, then I can just run to that and make a nether portal there. There is that nearby broken nether portal from where I basically spawned. The problem is I'd have to go to the village and then run all the way back, and as well, there is 2 crying pieces of obsidian that I'd have to break, which, okay, I didn't realize this is the time, but I realized I only have to break one of the crying obsidian pieces to make this work. I really am a dum-dum at times. That was actually the end of my first day looking at this world. I took a break until the next day when I realized I was using the faithful texture pack the entire time. And I don't think that's really an issue, but considering I started the video with the faithful texture pack, I decided it's probably best to finish it. So you hate faithful, I'm sorry, it's just a one-off video. I had to spend another day looking around the first village because I was sure it was the better option. This time I searched the oak forest nearby, but just nothing. I decided to head back to the village to head in a different direction when I noticed in the little lake here there was some stone, which of course had a lava pool underneath it. And the best part about this lava pool, it was only about 50 blocks away from the village. Was a bit lucky to find. Nevertheless, now that I've got this, time to plan. I have a solid route to the nether. Day 7, I did a fresh dummy run. Firstly, running to the ruined nether portal, grabbing the gear in the chest. I then ran to the village, grabbed the basic loot in the chests, and of course grabbing the beds, and then to the nether portal. I was able to do this in less than 3.5 minutes, which with enough practice, I feel like I'd be able to do in 3. It is worth mentioning that I am going to need to kill the iron golem, which probably will kill a little bit of time. It was now time to enter the nether, which did spawn me in a crimson forest. I know it's not the safest nether biome, but I do have the gold boost, which will keep the piglings away from me. As well, there was a bastion about 50 blocks away from the portal. I then spent the rest of the day searching around the bastion, finding where the gold blocks was placed. Day 8, I went back to the bastion to investigate the chests, and oh man, am I in love. A diamond pickaxe with fortune 3, an iron sword with looting 1, plenty of arrows and string, and it was actually everything I would need for a speedrun, which I'm 99% sure of people watching this for the first time would probably think this is a cheating speedrun. But you know, the seed's right there. If you don't believe me, you can have a bit of a gander at it, see if see if it's worthwhile. So at this point, the working plan would to be spend the first 3 minutes getting to the nether, 1 more to get to the bastion, grab the loot in the chests and the gold blocks, trade for the pearls, and then head into the fortress as soon as I find it. Okay, here we go. I searched for day 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17, but on day 18, nope. Day 19, however, I was able to find it. It is 500 blocks away from the bastion though, which was a bit concerning, but not necessarily an impossible situation. I now needed to plan my run to the nether. And so that's what I did for run 21, 22, 23, and day 20. I don't know why I said that backwards. For the most part, it is a pretty straightforward run. There is one little jump at the end that I have to worry about, but other than that, it's fine. There is a point where I will have to dig about 50 blocks into the fortress, and the whole trip can be done in less than 5 minutes if I'm quick enough. Now that that was sorted, it was time for me to find the distance to the stronghold. The problem with investigating this point is that there's no way for me to just find the stronghold without doing the entirety of this run, which means I have to run to the bastion, get the pearl trays, and then run to the fortress and get the blaze rod. I did on 25 though. I ran to the fortress, got a blaze rod, and then realized something. I have no idea how I'm gonna get back to the overworld. At no point at this point did I ever plan on making it back to the overworld, and like, I planned everything else. I cannot believe I didn't plan this bit. I spent more time searching the bastion when I realized there was a second set of chests that I never found on the first time of looking, and would you get this? 10 obsidian is in the second chest. I was originally thinking that the pigling trade would have to give me the 10 obsidian, but sometimes the world just gives you a break, and today's one of those days. I was able to head straight to the overworld, and where I spawned over an ocean. And as I was heading to the stronghold, I ran out of time, so I needed to move on to the next day. I repeated the steps on day 27, saving some time, and was able to get to the stronghold, but just enough time for me to see that I needed 11 eyes, and that's what ended the day. So, after learning the location of what I presume is the closest stronghold, I knew that if I put my portal in the Nether Fortress, I would have to travel 1,400 blocks to get to it, which is a pretty decent amount. In fact, at first I thought this was going to be the run killer, but then I realized nothing is technically forcing me from putting the portal in the fortress. So thanks to the trusty Never to Overworld calculator, I learned that if I put my portal only 150 blocks away, I would spawn basically 150 blocks away from where the stronghold is. From day 28 to day 32, I was just testing the different locations where I could put the nether portal, and found the perfect location that would literally put me 100 blocks away from the stronghold. I found out that digging down in the right spot would put me at the staircase where the portal is, and just to the left of me there is a chest that had an ender pearl in, which means I now only needed 10 ender pearl trays to get this done. And with all that done by day 32, I'd officially planned out everything I needed to do. So, let's run through the plan, why don't we? When I spawn in, I will roughly spawn around the coordinates 150, 80. I'll then need to run 120 blocks through the broken nether portal. Grabbing the basics of that chest, I then need to run around 500 blocks to get to the village, where I'll get the beds, the loot from the chests, and 50 blocks away from the village will be the lava pool. Getting into the nether, I need to run 50 blocks to the bastion, where I'll need to loot both sets of chests. I'll have to then grab the gold from the center, trade with the piglings, hope they give me 10 ender pearls, run 500 more blocks to the fortress, where I only need to grab 6 blaze rods, which thanks to the looting one sword should be relatively quick, and then a simple 150 block run to place the portal, 50 block run, 50 block dig down, right at the portal, in the end, fight the Enderdragon, kill the Enderdragon, job's a good one. This doesn't cover stuff like getting wood and food and such, but roughly, if I do everything perfect, it should take about 15 minutes to get from where I spawn to the Enderdragon fight. I think with practice, I'll be able to save a couple of minutes, so I should have 7 minutes spare. So within that 7 minutes, I need to get enough ender pearls from the pearl trades to be able to get into the end and then kill the Enderdragon with the bed bombing technique. Again, I've never bed bombed in my entire life, so this is going to be really difficult. I do have a bow and arrow from the chest, which is definitely going to help, but this was going to be a tough run. And so I started my attempts on day 33, which means I had 68 attempts to pull this off. Let me show you how a couple of them went. For the most part, it kind of went the same way. And getting to the nether was quite easy, but half of the runs was reset due to poor trades. There was a couple of runs I had to reset because I messed up the nether portal, which I really don't want to talk about it. There was that one time where I just went the wrong way to the fortress. I was just running 300 blocks away, so I decided to restart there. That was fun. Honestly, the blades weren't that much of an issue either. I was in there, I'd quickly get 6, and then running to the location where I needed the nether portal was also really easy as well. In those cases, though, I just sadly ran out of time by the time I was entering the end. By the 50th run, I had done 18 run. 10 of them was stopped due to poor trades, 4 of them was just due to simple mistakes, and 4 of them were just simply running out of time. I was cutting out the silly mistakes as well. Out of the next 10 runs, 7 was lost due to poor pearl trades, and the other 3 was just simply being too slow. Run 63 was funny though. I accidentally made a pair of shears rather than a bucket. Good times, good times. I mean, mostly. Reading through these notes is kind of depressing. Like, seriously. Failed pearl trade, forgot to kill the iron golem, got lost in the nether, paused as I was falling into a lava pool and quit, which doesn't count as a death, accidentally threw an eye of ender instead of placing it. Alright, that one is kind of funny. Pearl trade, bloody pearl trade, until run 79. The 79th run was the same as the rest. Rush to the nether portal, grab the stuff, take the same route to the village, which turns out I found out does actually have a couple more beds. I just have to enter from a different location. And after grabbing all the loot from the chest, I had 7 beds with an iron golem down and 21 bread. I was making fantastic time. In fact, I was in the nether within 4.5 minutes, arguably the quickest I've made it so far. Now, obviously, it isn't an exact time because I didn't time these perfectly. Just know I was making really good time here. I quickly got into the bastion where I tried to do something slightly different. I headed to the gold blocks first things first and started the trading straight away. I am gonna have to head to both the chests, but if I could at least start the trading process early, then maybe I can save a little bit of time. I quickly got to the first chest, easily grabbing the obsidian from them, and then went back to the trades to find that I had got 15 ender pearls. I was only gone for like 2 minutes. this is amazing. And then I headed to the second chest, which admittedly I was slowed down by a hoglin that straight up was cheating. I don't care what anyone says. I was able to grab the looting sword and fortune pickaxe. One run Joey run through the nether and one dig Danny dig to the fortress, and I was on my way to blaze murdering. 6 blaze rods later and I was making record time. The only problem, I was seriously struggling on food. It was going to be a problem long term, you shall see. I was in the process of placing the portal back in the designated location when a gas started shooting me down, accidentally causing me to misplace my portal, which of course it did. Did lose me a little bit of time, but quite frankly I had time to kill it, because by the time I made it back to the overworld, I had about 6 minutes spare. This whole thing had taken 14 minutes, by far the quickest I had gone so far. And by the time I was able to get to the end, I had a grand total of 5 minutes spare. It was now time to bed bomb, and I was hyping myself up. I knew I could do this. I knew that I could pull this one off, except I really couldn't. God damn it. And with the last bed placed, I set it off, lowering him into the final quarter of his health. The only problem, I was now down to half a heart. This was going to be as close as it possibly could get. It was just now me and my trusted bow skills versus the dragon, and I was firing like a madman, checking my F3 every other second when I was able to kill the dragon. Except it wasn't over. I had to get into the portal before the day counter increased, and it was close, very close. But incredibly, with 10 seconds of me teleporting, the day counter increased, meaning that I had pulled off the run in about 19 minutes and 50 seconds. My final thoughts of this experiment? Never again. That was the worst thing I've ever done. I don't know how speedrunners do it for hours. I wanted to give up like 4 hours ago. I want to go home. I want to go to bed. I am not doing this again. Anyway, I'm uploading squads next week, so I'll see you guys then.